Hello, my name is Maria Bezubova and you're at my channel Fertilizers Jazz. Here we talk about events, trends, technologies in the world of fertilizers and agriculture. Please subscribe to the channel, put like to this video, and that's jazz. Also, please check my interview with Gennady Ivanov, co-founder and CEO of BPG Shipping, the dry bulk shipping company that operates from Ukraine, its offices in Greece, UAE, India and Hong Kong. We discussed with Gennady the situation in the bulk shipping market, rates that we should expect in the second half of 2024, as well as perspective and timing of green revolution in shipping. It was published last Wednesday, so please check it out for amazing insights. Today is 15th of July 2024 and it is a weekly markets update. Let's have a look at the news of week 28 and see what are the next trends. Indian urea tender, of course, is the main news of the week, and this news brings bearish sentiment to the market. The tender was closed last Monday, attracting in total offers for 2,680,000 tons. Prices proposed were at the level of $350 and $50 CFR to the western coast and $365 to the eastern coast. This is rolling back to around 330 FOB for Arab Gulf producers and around $290 FOB for Russian volumes from the Baltics. The $15 difference between the offers to western and eastern coasts made Indian buyer reluctant to purchase the widely anticipated volumes. Usually the delta is not higher than $6. Under these circumstances, only 80,000 tons were confirmed for the western coast and 353,500 tons for the eastern coast. In total, it makes only 433,500 tons confirmed by now. The bids are valid through July 18, so we might see some more volumes, but unlikely that it will be higher than 500,000 in total. The market expected before the tender larger volume, around 700,000–800,000 tons. But seems like Middle East and Russian producers are quite comfortable with their sales to other markets that give higher margins. Tender price level is much lower versus levels achieved in sales tenders last week, and results of some of them were really unexpected. For example, Indonesian Kaltim sold 30,000 tons of granular at $366 FOB. This price level puzzled the market. How come it can be so high? Nigerian Dangote surprisingly came out with a cargo of 30,000 tons that was sold at the level of high 330s FOB. Previously, Nigerian producers were focused on the domestic market. Iranian producers put price tag at $305 FOB, and Shiraz sold 30,000 tons cargo at this level for late July, beginning August shipment. How this tender result will influence the market? Of course, it will depend on the final result. But if we make a plausible assumption based on current information, that volume purchased will be around 500,000 tons, it will definitely bring bearish sentiment to the market. Egyptian production is back on stream at about 80% capacity, so this bullish factor seems to be gone. In the other regions, production is steady, so stocks will pile up. And consumption in main markets either coming to its end, like in Australia and main Asian markets, or is not promising big volumes like in Latin America, where buyers will purchase more, but perhaps not immense volume. Europe will be covered with Egyptians and Algerians, as usually, and on top of that, extreme heat that came to the vast majority of southern and central European countries last week impacts crops quality and harvesting campaign. European farmers are reluctant to purchase any nitrogen products at all. The heat is abnormal. In some European countries, like, for example, Bulgaria and Romania, deviation from usual norms for this week is in the range between 6 to 11 degrees Celsius. The similar situation we have here in Ukraine. I don't remember such high temperatures that stay in place for such a long number of days consequently in a row. So seems like there is definitely no rush for the buyers to purchase now. Some support came from Pakistan, where a purchasing tender for 150,000 tons was issued last week. That will be closed on the 29th of July. Sources in the industry say that government-to-government negotiations with Turkmenistan were not finalized with any contract. So the tender will attract most likely volumes from Arabian Gulf producers who seem to have quite a lot of product to place in August and further. Also, Ethiopian Agricultural Business Corporation announced a purchasing tender for 156,000 tons of granular urea that closed on Friday. We will see the results this week. Paper values marginally corrected upwards, but it is just a correction, not increase, I think. FOB Egypt future for August indicated between $350 and $365, $5 higher versus a week ago. For September, $340 to $360. NOLA value fluctuated at the same level for August, $303 to $308 per short ton, and for September increased by $5 to $305 to $315. AG values and CFR Brazil values also showed minor upward correction by $3. Ammonium sulfate market showed another quiet week amid Indian tender focus of all parties. Prices for Chinese standard grade product decreased a bit to the level of $142 to $148 FOB. And buyers' indications are about $5 lower than that. Granular values keep at $165, $170 FOB, but purchasing interest is limited. Brazil was not active this week, putting more focus on phosphates purchases. Stocks in the market are quite comfortable to support such situation for some time more. Nitrates and UAN markets remain inactive due to off-season across geographies. In ammonia, the bullish trend continues amid tightening supply. A spot deal for a small volume of 5,000 tons was conducted for Belgian buyer at the level of $510 CFR, which is about $10 increase versus previous level. Middle East supply is limited, and SABIC hasn't come back on stream as planned last week. In the US, Freeport production is out of the market due to consequences of Hurricane Beryl raging in the region, and it is not clear now for how long production outage will last. As a result, US FOB prices increased by $10 to the level of $345, $370 FOB. In Trinidad, production finally resumed after more than a month of curtailed gas supply. About 100 to 150,000 tons was lost for the market due to the production outages in June. So we can expect supply easing in the Western Hemisphere in August. In Asian region, prices also marginally increased, with only small spot vessels available, while general supply being tight with focus on contract shipments only. Phosphates prices continue to firm amid tight availability for key markets. Brazil CFR price for MAP increased again by another almost $10 to $630 to $640. The application window and purchase respectively will be coming to the end soon, so the postponed demand will need to be met, at least partially. Ma'aden sold 2 lots of DAP total of 65,000 tons to Pakistan at the level between high 540s to 550s FOB, which is a couple of dollars higher versus previous level. In India, debate about the subsidy level for DAP is ongoing. The new ministry met with several fertilizers companies last week. to discuss situation with DAP supplies. The budget from new government is expected on the 23rd of July, and hopefully subsidy increase will be included there as of October for Rabi season. However, there is a fear that it will be too late to prepare thoroughly for the application season. And before the situation is clear, there will be no private companies imports at current high price levels. Monsoon picked up and rainfall level is now reported as average versus usual level across key agricultural regions in India. So, it is an indication of healthy fertilizers demand for the Rabi season. Bangladesh Ministry awarded the DAP tender and purchased about 400,000 tons at the level of $645 to $695 CFR. The suppliers refused to counter the lowest offer in the tender, keeping their price proposals as were. This award pushed Chinese FOB price level higher by $20 to $570–80 FOB. In Europe, the demand is limited due to harvesting campaign. OCP reported sales of about 40,000 tons of DAP to various Western and Central European markets at the level of $595 to $630 FOB. As a surprise came the news last week about potash import contract between Uralkali and consortium of Chinese buyers for shipments through December 2024. It showed a $34 decline on a previous contract that expired long ago and was not re-signed. The price agreed is $273 CFR China. This level will definitely be the floor for the market that will now wait for the Indian buyers also to sign the new contract. It is also long awaited amid Indian elections. Moving to the fundamentals. European natural gas price decreased again versus a week ago to the level of less than 32 euros per megawatt hour. Europe entered peak summer period, and despite extreme heat in some countries, general demand for gas decreases. The supply is steady and the inventories are full, being reported at over than 80% level. In this situation, Europe most likely will lower its LNG imports in the second half of the year. That will help to further ease gas prices. US natural gas futures are stable at the level of $2.33 per MMBTU, showing 5 weeks in a row downward trend. Gas production continues to be on the high level, while flow to the main LNG export facilities was broken due to consequences of Hurricane Beryl. As a result, storage level is reported at 19% higher versus usual seasonal level. So, with the current situation ongoing, we can expect further price sliding until the production levels are not corrected. Agricultural commodities market futures decreased dramatically this week for all key crops amid new WASDE report from USDA. Wheat prices fell to around $5.5 per bushel, the lowest level since April, amid prospects of abundant supply. Favorable weather in key Russian wheat growing regions has boosted harvest, bolstering export expectations and lowering wheat export prices. Also, the USDA rated 75% of the US spring wheat good to excellent. On the other hand, wheat production in France is set to drop by 15%, the lower level not seen since 2020 due to excessive rains. Next week, 24-2025 season is also expected to be good, with production larger versus current season. So in general, the market is going to be surplus, so price trend is soft. Corn futures tumbled toward $4 per bushel, hitting a low not seen in over 3.5 years. This is driven by a brighter supply outlook in the US and lackluster demand. Beneficial rains from Hurricane Beryl in the Midwest positively impacted crop development and potentially boosted yields. Furthermore, the accumulation of record-high corn stocks in the US, not seen since 1988 amid economic uncertainties, deepened market pessimism. However, the report came as a surprise for the industry, with much lower 2023-2024 season-ending stocks versus what industry was expecting. The difference is 170 million bushels. Still, it didn't help with the price trend, at least yet. On the demand side, sluggish global export demand intensified competitive pressures, contributing further to the price decline. Thus, speculative activity exacerbated market sentiment, with corn futures seeing a surge in bearish positions. We will watch what will happen next week. Maybe there will be a slight upward correction. Soybean prices fell to $11 per bushel, the lowest price since November 2020, driven by ample supply and weak export demand. Prices dropped sharply after WASDE report, showing that crop condition ratings had improved beyond analysts' expectations. Moreover, favorable growing conditions are expected to lead to a substantial US harvest for soy, while ongoing harvests of South American soybeans are adding to the market supply and pressuring prices. Next season, 2024-2025, is expected to bring the same amount of crops produced, and both Brazil and Argentina will have larger amounts for exports. So if global demand picks up later in the season, which hopefully happens, we might see upward correction. Moving to the shipping industry. Continuous growth of containerized freight index reversed last week. The index lost some points, but still it stays on the high level. There is no basis for its steady decrease, because all the fundamentals remained unchanged. The demand for containers only increases, while congestions in the ports continue. Thus, according to many different industry sources, we shouldn't expect any drop in container costs anytime soon. The Baltic Exchange Dry Index is stable versus a week ago, but clearly is on the upward trajectory, driven mainly by high demand for Panamax vessels due to start of active exports from Europe. You can find many more insights in the dry bulk shipping segment in my interview with Gennady Ivanov from BPG Shipping. Please take a look. To sum up, Indian tender result was not a great surprise. There were no large volumes booked, as it happened already several times in the latest Indian tenders. We will see the final result this week, but if India will book only 500,000 tons, then the market should expect downward correction. Egyptian producers are back on stream, adding to the bearish sentiment. Phosphate segment continues to be bullish, with supply remaining quite tight. But here again, India will be the main driver of future trends, after a new government will or not announce new subsidy level for DAP in its budget that will be issued on the 23rd of July. It might both boost further bullish sentiment or cool the market down if there is no support to private Indian importers for Rabi season. Crops prices collapsed after Friday WASDE report, showing ample supply and sluggish demand for all key crops. This will also bring more bearish sentiment to the fertilizers market. So, let's see what is next around the corner, but it will be already next week. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, put like to this video, and see you soon.